Unlock the sacred messages awaiting your awakening. Discover the divine truths hidden within. I never expected a single dream to change everything. It was one of those nights where the moon hung low and heavy, a beacon of light in a sea of darkness. I lay in bed, restless, doubts pulsing through my veins like a distant drumbeat. Was I on the right path? Each tick of the clock felt like a countdown to something greater, something I couldn't yet grasp. I shifted under the sheets, the cool fabric brushing against my skin like a whisper. Just then, the dream struck. Bright colors swirled around me, lights dancing and singing, pulling me deeper into an otherworldly landscape. I felt the warmth of the sun on my face, but there was also an unsettling chill in the air, a paradox that echoed the confusion in my heart. In that dream, I stood by a river of shimmering silver, the water flowing like liquid glass. As I gazed into its depths, raised hands gestured towards me from beneath the surface. They were familiar yet foreign, fingers beckoning. My heart raced. Were these spirits? Guides? I strained to hear their voices, but all that emerged was a soft, haunting melody that wrapped around me like a warm embrace and set my very soul on fire. I woke startled, breathless. The walls of my room felt constrictive. The same melody lingered in the air, teasing and haunting me. I needed answers. The world outside my window seemed to hold secrets just beyond my reach. The early morning light poured in, casting a golden hue that promised clarity yet offered none. In search of meaning, I wandered outside. Nature whispered around me, the rustling leaves felt alive, speaking in a language I yearned to understand. A butterfly fluttered past, its vibrant wings striking against the backdrop of a dull morning. I paused, heart pounding, feeling its fleeting presence held significance. It was as if the universe had shifted. Questions flickered in my mind like shadows. What was the meaning of my dream? Why did I feel so drawn to it? The wind howled suddenly, pulling at my clothes as if urging me to follow its path. The feeling of being watched washed over me. I glanced over my shoulder, half expecting to see an ethereal figure standing behind me, but nothing met my gaze. Just the trees, swaying, whispering, and blanketing me in enigmatic energy. Were the signs around me more than mere coincidences? I felt the tension ratchet up, my heartbeat echoing the pulse of something far beyond my comprehension. Secrets spiraled around me, beckoning. What awaited me on this journey? I took a deep breath as I scanned the horizon, hope mingling with apprehension. I knew deep down that the dream was only the beginning. What lay ahead would require courage, but the essence of transformation was coursing through me. As I stood there, grounded yet floating, a vision flickered in my mind, a quote from a book I once read: "The truth will be revealed when you're ready to see it." And then, silence. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The sun climbed higher, spilling light and warmth across the landscape, illuminating the path ahead. Each step felt like a testament to the inner quest I had embarked upon, and with every footfall, I could feel the earth beneath me resonating with hidden wisdom. I wandered aimlessly at first, letting the whispers of nature guide me. The air was crisp, filled with the scent of pine and damp earth, a bouquet of life and potential. As I walked, a sudden rustling drew my attention to a thicket nearby. Curiosity sparked within me, it urged me closer. Breaking through the underbrush, I encountered a clearing that seemed untouched by time. In the center stood an ancient tree, its gnarled branches stretching out like arms embracing the sky. Each line in its bark told stories of storms weathered and seasons changed. My fingers traced the rough surface, seeking a connection, a message hidden in its texture. Suddenly, a flicker of movement caught my eye. A small creature emerged, an owl, its piercing eyes locking onto mine, holding my gaze with an intensity that sent a shiver down my spine. In that moment, I felt suspended between realms, as if the line between the physical and spiritual blurred. The owl tilted its head, contemplating me as if weighing my very essence. Here was a sign, an omen. In many cultures, the owl is a harbinger of wisdom, a guide through the shadows into enlightenment. Why do you watch me? I whispered, half expecting it to respond. The owl remained still, yet I felt a deep stirring within. Clarity washed over me, and it struck me, perhaps it was not merely the signs I needed to decipher but the way they interacted with my own being. This journey was not just about seeking answers, it was about listening, absorbing, and truly engaging with the world around me. Intrigued, I turned my focus to the surroundings. The gentle rustle of leaves, the distant murmur of what era a symphony of nature, inviting me to attune myself to its rhythm. As I closed my eyes, surrendering to the melody, visions slithered into my mind. I saw fragments of moments yet to unfold, laughter shared by a campfire, the warmth of friendship rekindled, and the spark of creativity igniting my passion. These glimpses of connection formed a tapestry, weaving a narrative far deeper than I had anticipated. I opened my eyes, feeling the sun on my face, yet something caught my attention beyond the clearing. A soft, inviting glow flickered in the distance. My heart raced, urging me forward. Each step felt divinely orchestrated, as if the universe was pulling me toward a convergence of reality and dream. As I approached, the glow revealed itself as a small gathering of stones, arranged in a delicate Circlean altar of sorts. A surge of emotion welled within me, an awareness that what I had stumbled upon was significant. I knelt, overwhelmed by a wave of vulnerability and reverence. The air shimmered with energy, I could almost see it swirling, inviting me to enter a sacred dialogue with the universe. What was I meant to learn here? The questions formed like clouds in my mind, heavy yet unyielding. I closed my eyes again, breathing deeply, allowing the essence of the stones to intertwine with my own spirit. A voice emerged, echoing faintly as if coming from an ancient source. You are part of the eternal cycle. Look beyond, and the answers will unfold. A rush of warmth flooded my body, and suddenly the melody from my dream returned, wrapping around me like a reminder of its lingering presence. The stones seemed to vibrate with life, resonating with an intention. A vision crystallized, a gathering of like-minded souls united under the same moon that hung low on the night of my dream. What if my journey extended beyond mere introspection? What if my purpose was tied to others, waiting to be revealed through shared experiences and collective growth? As I rose from the altar, I looked back one last time, feeling a gentle tug between worlds. What was the connection I felt destined to create? Where would this path lead? Questions swirled through my atmosphere, and I recognized that although I had taken significant strides in this journey, understanding remained just out of reach. With each step I took away from the clearing, a renewed curiosity ignited within me. Perhaps this was the essence of the spiritual journey, to embrace the questions just as much as the answers. My heart swelled with anticipation for what lay ahead. What sacred messages awaited my awakening next? I ventured away from the altar, the warmth still coursing through my veins like a forgotten song waiting to be sung. The rustling leaves began to weave a new narrative, one filled with echoes of journeys yet to come. My steps were guided by a newfound sense of purpose, as if the earth beneath me whispered secrets of ancient paths. As I walked, the landscape shifted gradually, colors deepening into richer hues. The foliage transformed into a tapestry of emerald and gold, and the air thickened with the scent of jasmine, intoxicating and electric. I caught glimpses of movement in my periphery, little creatures scurrying about their mundane lives, seemingly unaware of the magic that enveloped them. Yet, something unmistakable stirred within and around them, a subtle reminder of the extraordinary nestled within the ordinary. In the distance, I heard the gentle trickle of a stream, each droplet resonating like a note played by nature's orchestra. The sound grew louder, inviting me closer. As I approached the water's edge, I spotted myriad stones skipping across the surface, dancing with both beauty and purpose. I knelt beside them, transfixed by the play of light and shadow, the way the water reflected the sun in flickering bursts of gold. Here, at this tranquil confluence, something remarkable began to unfold. The water revealed not only the image of my reflection but the contours of my soul. The flickers of laughter and solace from my visions earlier at the altar replayed in my mind, lingering like oods of a forgotten tune, flowing like water. A voice whispered, soft yet insistent. The sound came from nowhere and everywhere simultaneously, echoing off the stones and weaving through the vibrant foliage. Let your spirit find its current. I blinked, startled yet intrigued, trying to unravel the meaning behind the elusive message. Was I merely a vessel to be filled, or was I to discover depths within myself alongside others that I had yet to explore? With these musings, I let both my hands dip into the cool stream. The sensation was electric, a jolt of clarity coursing through me as the water enveloped my fingers. Each ripple held the promise of connection, reminding me that like water, my spirit sought to flow unconfined. My eyes caught sight of a late-morning dragonfly hovering above me, a shimmering being of transformation. It darted to and fro, a living testament to the balance of purpose and spontaneity. Suddenly, a memory flickered, unbidden yet profound, the stories shared by a wise elder back home, tales of the moon guiding the tides, of cycles that shaped existence. It came rushing back. Every story was a thread in the tapestry of life, stitching together disparate experiences into a singular narrative. What story awaited to be shared from my own life? What connections might I forge once understanding ignited into shared experience? The sun climbed higher, and a shiver coursed through the warm air, pulling me from my reverie. With the dragonfly as my guide, I followed the stream, grateful for its gentle nudging toward the unknown. Each step felt lighter as I allowed both fear and uncertainty to dissolve into the water. As I rounded a bend, the stream emerged into a wide open field, verdant and alive, punctuated by wildflowers stretching defiantly toward the sky. The sight filled me with both awe and trepidation. Was this the destination I sought, or merely another step along my journey? Would I find the kinship hinted at by the stones, or was I to continue carrying my questions into this new space? The wildflowers swayed rhythmically, teasing at an unspoken resonance just beneath the surface. I found myself yearning to commune with whatever energies brushed against my spirit, a pulse that echoed beyond mere existence. I dropped to my knees among them, fingers tracing the delicate petals, inhaling deeply of life's fragrance, and whispered, what truths lie hidden here? What sacred messages await my awakening? In that moment of surrender, the world fell silent, and though no answers emerged, I sensed a dawning realization. Perhaps the journey was to meld with others like the flowers in the field, each unique yet contributing to a greater bloom. But how would I find those who would walk the path with me? Would destiny open their hearts to join me, or was there wisdom in traversing this terrain alone? With those questions guiding me forward, I stood, taking a deep breath as the breeze enveloped my form, cradling me like a promise. The spiritual mysteries still lingered, shrouded and calling. Therefore, the journey continued, shimmering with potential and mysteries yet undiscovered. What divine truths awaited just beyond the horizon, and how would my heart integrate them when the moment arrived? As I stepped into the embrace of the vibrant field, a profound stillness lingered around me. Even amidst the flurry of colors and gentle movements, the air seemed pregnant with expectancy, as if time itself held its breath. I cast my gaze toward the horizon, where the blue sky kissed the gold-tinted earth, and a soft wind caressed my cheeks like a loving whisper. I began to traverse the open space, each footfall resonating not just against the ground but within the chambers of my soul. Memories of my previous encounters curled around me like vines, tugging gently at the fabric of my consciousness. The stories shared at the altar felt like a foundation, and now, the wildflowers stood as a potential network of connections, a social web of kindred spirits waiting to be interwoven. As I wandered deeper into the field, I noticed a peculiar arrangement of stones rising in a spiral pattern off to my left. Drawn by an invisible thread, I approached the formation, its silhouette positioned against the yawning sky. Each stone seemed to gleam with energy, and a pulse coursed through the invitation to discover their secret. Kneeling down, I brushed my fingers along the cool surface of the stones, their textures varying from smooth to rugged, each telling its own story in silent tongues. Suddenly, I remembered a notion from childhood, how each rock carried a spirit in folklore, a keeper of wisdom and ancient knowledge. What wisdom resided within this spiral? Would it offer me glimpses into my own path, or perhaps clues to connect with others whose journeys intertwined with mine? As my thoughts swirled, a new voice emerged, or perhaps it was the echo of an old one from the deeper recesses of my memory. The spiral is a symbol of growth and evolution. Trust the journey, and let it unfold as it will. The words wrapped around me like a warm shawl, radiating comfort and clarity. I closed my eyes, centering my breath. The energy of the spiral called me to meditate, to sink deeper into the heart of the moment. I envisioned my own life expanding and contracting, like the coils of the spiral, each turn a lesson, each ascent a blessing. What if the connections I sought lay in the increments of shared experiences, each mutual story a step toward enlightenment, each encounter a petal unfurling from the bud of life? Moments passed as I surrendered to the rhythm of my breath. Feeling revitalized by the essence around me, I opened my eyes to find the sun dispelling the last shadows of morning. The spiraled stones now emanated an ethereal glow, imbued with the vitality of the earth and my own awakening. Suddenly, a movement caught my attention. At the edge of the field, a figure emerged, cloaked in a flowing garment that danced with the wind, an apparition of grace and purpose. My heart fluttered with both curiosity and apprehension. Who was this being that approached, seemingly drawn to the same sacred energy that pulsed through the air? As the figure drew nearer, I could see the glint in their eyes, a mirror to my own inquisitive spirit. The stranger held a staff, intricately decorated with symbols akin to the spiral I had just encountered. It felt as though an unspoken understanding passed between us, a recognition of shared journeys and realms unexplored. Greetings, seeker, the stranger spoke, their voice melodic yet grounded. I have been called to this place, much like you. Here lies a confluence of destinies, where the sacred messages of the universe intertwine with those who dare to listen. I inhaled sharply, feeling the weight of their words. Another traveler on the same quest. Here was the kinship I had yearned for, a companion to help illuminate the mysteries that still danced in the air. What messages are we to find? I asked, trepidation edging my voice. What truths await us? The stranger smiled softly, a hint of mischief in their eyes. That, dear one, is for us to uncover together. The journey is evolving, just as the spiral teaches, and each step will unveil layers of understanding waiting to be discovered. Remain open, and the divine will guide us. We stood together, an electric communion sparked between us, inviting the universe to conspire in our favor. My heart swelled with the excitement of shared exploration, yet the question still loomed large: what truths would we unearth together, and would they lead us closer to the ultimate purpose awaiting our discovery? With each moment brimming with potential, I embraced this new chapter of our quest. The horizon stretched infinitely before us, holding secrets in its boundless expanse. Would we be able to unlock them? What sacred messages lay tucked within the folds of our unfolding journey? I could hardly wait, yet the answers slipped just beyond reach, teasing but not yet tangible. The wind shifted as if the field itself responded to our mingled energies, bringing with it the whispers of secrets yet to be revealed. My companion's presence felt like a compass guiding my intuition, urging me to explore the vastness that awaited just beyond our circle of connection. The sun, now higher in the sky, illuminated our path with a golden hue, inviting shadows to dance and play along the contours of the landscape. Where shall we begin? I queried, my voice trembling with excitement and uncertainty. The question hung in the air, pregnant with possibility. With a thoughtful smile, the stranger, whom I now understood as a fellow seeker, gestured towards the boundary of wildflowers that swayed exuberantly at the field's edge. The flowers hold their own wisdom. Each bloom tells a story, each petal unfurls a lesson. Let us listen to their communal song. As we approached the vibrant blooms, I felt an overwhelming awe wash over me. The diversity of colors, the interplay of shapes and scents, seemed to pulse with life, as if the flowers were alive with voices of love and wisdom. Kneeling down, I plucked a delicate bloom, marveling at its intricate designa swirl of soft lavender kissed with golden tips, its fragrance rich and calming. Each flower, my companion said gently, is a representation of transformation. In nature, as in life, change is divine. What does this flower convey to you? Squinting at the blossom, I allowed its essence to meld with my thoughts. It reminds me of vulnerability, the beauty that arises from opening oneself, much like the way this flower unfolds to the sun, precisely. Their eyes sparkled with encouragement. Growth not only comes from experiences but also from the courage to embrace our true selves. What if you were to forge connections rooted in this vulnerability? The notion settled in me like a seed finding fertile soil, and I felt a swell of hope. If vulnerability could lead to deeper interactions with others, then perhaps I could unveil the layers hidden within my own heart and those of kindred spirits along this journey. We continued to explore the colorful tapestry, pausing to absorb their vibrant messages, the conversation turning to our own paths. It became evident that while my journey thus far had been solitary, there lay countless souls traversing similar trials. Each petal turned a testament to stories waiting to be shared. Tell me, seeker, the stranger, whose name I still didn't know, prompted me softly amidst our digging through blossoms. What is the longing that pulls at your spirit? Taking a deep breath, I unearthed the unease resting in my chest. I seek community, a family of hearts that resonate with one another. In my journey, I've felt somewhat alone, misunderstood. I want to find those who genuinely connect with the essence of who I am. But remember, they replied gently, community is forged in authenticity. When you allow your authentic self to unfurl like these flowers, only then can you attract those who see your true beauty. The words struck a profound chord within me. They resonated like a chime echoing through a spacious sanctuary. Perhaps the path towards connection lay not just in searching outward but also inward, diving deep into the waters of my own essence to discover what truly resides there. If only I could fully embrace that essence, could I then find my kin? In reverent silence, we absorbed the intricacies of the garden around us, each flower a reminder of life's delicate balance between persistence and surrender. Yet, woven through my reflections was a lingering question: did I truly possess the courage to unveil my authenticity, to show the world my raw, unfiltered self? Should I risk potential rejection for the chance at meaningful connections? As the sun arced across the sky, a mysterious flutter danced within my heart, a sense of momentum pulling me forward. I looked up and found my companion gazing thoughtfully towards the horizon. It seemed they were searching for something beyond what my eyes could see, perhaps sensing the intricate threads of fate waiting to unfurl. Are we meant to venture deeper into the field? I asked, raising this query into the merging shadows of dusk. Yes, they replied, a knowing smile curving their lips. The land holds more revelations. Each layer we traverse will guide us to answers. With that, they turned, motioning for me to follow as we both set our sights towards the unknown, a world ripe with opportunities and revelations, resonating with every heartbeat. What would we discover beyond the horizon? Would we unlock not only the sacred messages of the universe, but also the mysteries hidden in our own hearts? The uncertainty of our journey loomed thrillingly before us, and though it beckoned me with gentle insistence, an unresolved thread remained. Was I prepared to unearth my truest self among the blooms that might sway in currents unseen? The path ahead, though obscured by patches of tall grass, felt inviting, beckoning to step further into the realm of the unknowable. As we walked, the rhythmic sound of our footsteps harmonized with the whispers of the breeze, creating an ambient symphony that resonated deep within my soul. The sun continued its ascent, casting a warm glow on our surroundings, illuminating not just our physical journey but the unseen voyage occurring within. Do you feel it? My companion's voice broke through my meditative silence, drawing my attention to the shift in the atmosphere. The energy intensifies as we draw nearer to the heart of this field. It is as though the earth is aware of our intentions, exposing its sacred secrets one layer at a time. Nodding, I took a moment to absorb the palpable shift. The air felt charged, each breath sweeping in fragrant aromas of earth and blooming petals. A soft hum resonated, as if the very soil throbbed with life, with stories waiting to burst forth like blooms awakening to dawn. Further along, we stumbled upon a grove of towering trees, their gnarled branches entwined in an embrace that transcended time. On their trunks, ancient symbols were etched, deep markings that echoed back through centuries, mere whispers of a language long forgotten. My heart quickened with excitement. These trees were guardians of wisdom, standing sentinel over truths that yearned to be uncovered. Treading cautiously among the roots, I reached out to touch the bark, feeling its rough texture beneath my fingertips. A sense of familiarity washed over me, as if the tree recognized my presence. Suddenly, a flurry of memories cascaded through my mind, scenes of childhood laughter, moments of quiet contemplation under starlit skies, the warmth of shared smiles among friends. It was a tapestry of connection formed over time, and yet, there remained an undercurrent of dissonance, something persistently elusive in my quest for belonging. Can you hear their stories? My companion broke the silence, a knowing look in their eyes. These trees have witnessed countless souls journeying through seasons of joy and sorrow. Their roots dig deep into the earth, an unyielding connection that speaks to us of unity. What do you think these stories mean for you? Reflecting on the wisdom whispered by the grove, I considered the threads that bound me to others. Perhaps they remind me that to find belonging, I must honor the roots of my own existence. Every experience, every encounter sewn into the fabric of who I am has shaped my understanding of connection. But can I draw on that foundation to reach out to others? Exactly, my companion affirmed. To unlock the messages woven into your narrative, you must cultivate the courage to share your stories, like these trees casting their shadows for all who seek solace beneath their branches. Who among these roots resonates with your own? In that moment, I remembered a friendship that had felt fragile, the sweetness of shared laughter now corroded by misunderstandings. Might I still reclaim that bond? Could I, like the trees, weather the storms that threatened to uproot my connections? A single gust of wind swirled around us, carrying with it a cascade of fallen leaves that danced playfully before us. Each leaf sparkled in the sunlight, glimmering with the potential of new beginnings. In its graceful descent, I envisioned the stories waiting to be shared, the reconnections longing to be rekindled. Lost in thought, I spied a small clearing just beyond the grove, a single rock formation adorned with bright lichen, almost glowing against the verdant backdrop. It beckoned us closer, exuding an allure that seemed to promise deeper revelations. What lies within that clearing? I asked, curiosity lacing my voice. There is a power there, my companion replied with conviction, a place of reflection and introspection. Perhaps we will unearth more answers, or maybe we will confront another layer of our own truth. With a shared glance of determination, we made our way towards the clearing, heartbeats synchronized in a rhythm of anticipation. As we stepped into the luminous space, I felt the heaviness of unresolved questions congregating, yet pressing forward with eagerness. Each step felt like a call to rise into my fullest self. What would we uncover in this sacred space? Would it unearth more hidden narratives that lay dormant in the depths of our souls? And as the journey unfolded, I couldn't avoid asking, was I truly ready to face the depths of my own history in pursuit of a community willing to embrace both my light and shadow? The clearing embraced us in a warm glow, a cocoon of serenity shielded from the outside world by the towering trees that framed it. In the center, the lichen-covered rock formation radiated an ethereal energy, urging me to step forward to not just observe, but participate in whatever sacred dialogue was emerging. As I approached the stones, the texture of the lichen beneath my fingers sparked a childlike wonder within me. Each color and pattern hinted at stories themselves, vibrant narratives whispered between earth and sky. It was as if the rock was an altar, awaiting offerings not of material possessions, but of introspection and vulnerability. My companion followed closely, eyes fixed on the formation, as if drawn by an invisible current. This is a place of communion, they said softly, reverence lacing their tone. Here, we can ask, and perhaps we will receive. I took a deep breath, steadying my heart that danced to the rhythm of the moment. With an openness born from our journey thus far, I found myself kneeling beside the formation, allowing the energy of the place to envelop me. I closed my eyes and held my breath, inviting connection not just with the stones beneath me, but with the wisdom that lay trapped within my own being. In that stillness, images flooded my mind, moments of bliss and sadness, faces of friends both present and absent, and echoes of laughter intermingled with sighs of solitude. Each thought morphed into a layer, inviting me to peel back the complexities of my own narrative. What do I need to learn? I whispered into the silence, my voice barely a breath. for moments that felt both like an eternity and a heartbeat, I waited. The air thickened with something warm and sentient, as if the earth itself listened, poised to offer its secrets. A sudden shift emerged, the air stirred, a soft murmur enveloped me, carrying fragments of voices intertwining like a gentle tapestry. "Remember, wanderer," whispered the air, laced with an ancient hymn resonant with the sound of raindrops on thirsty earth. "You belong not just to those you seek but to every lesson, every mistake, every love that flowed through you. Each connection is a thread, and as you weave your story, you contribute to the interconnected fabric of all beings." Opening my eyes, the vivid world around me shifted. The trees wore whispers of my own experiences, vines twisting like serpents of memory around the roots. I felt an awakening stir within as unspoken fears and desires surfaced, a yearning for connection, trust, and the courage to embrace my journey, imperfections and all. And then, like the snapping of a twig, clarity dawned. I recognized the faces that danced in my mind, the echoes of laughter that had once felt so vibrant. I felt the scars of misunderstandings blend into a mosaic of hope, realizing I could still reach out, extend an olive branch, breathe life into faded connections. What if we are the sum of every story we encounter? My voice emerged anew, infused with an urgency not felt before. What if connection is our greatest teacher, constantly inviting us to dive deeper into understanding ourselves through one another? My companion nodded, their gaze steady and reassuring. "Yes, it begins with the courage to be vulnerable, to open our hearts wide enough to not only receive but share. In the act of sharing, we dissolve the barriers that separate us, illuminating the threads that bind." Just as I was about to lean further into this revelation, a sudden rustle in the nearby underbrush drew our attention. A flicker of movement caught my eye, a small creature darting through the grass, vibrant and alive as it drew near. It paused, a doe with big, expressive eyes that seemed to carry ancient wisdom wrapped in innocence. In that moment, I intuited something profound from its gaze. It was as if the creature was reflecting my own quest for belonging. The doe stood still, allowing me to examine its presence, as if daring me to consider the call of nature, reminding me that, just as these wild beings are intertwined with their ecosystems, so too am I interwoven with the tapestry of humanity and spirit. As the doe turned gracefully and bounded away, I felt an unexplainable pull to follow, a beckoning into the unknown that felt simultaneously exhilarating and daunting. And so, as the echoes of my thoughts melded seamlessly with the ambient sounds of the clearing, I couldn't help but wonder, what other revelations awaited beyond the grove, in the uncharted territory of my heart? Would embracing these questions lead me closer to the community I sought, or would they reveal an even deeper layer of my own spirit waiting to unfold? I briefly glanced back at the lichen-covered stones, now mere sentinels to the journey ahead, before plunging into the winding path carved by unseen feet. Each step felt charged with intention as I followed the soft earth that whispered beneath my weight. The air thickened with possibilities, and with the echoes of the doe still resonating in my heart, I began to feel that I was not merely wandering. Each stride was like a prayer, a set of wings beckoning me to fly higher into the unknown. The forest seemed alive, unraveling a tapestry of scents and sounds that guided my passage, a delicate harmony teetering between silence and song. Sunlight filtered through the canopy, dappling the ground in patches of gold, and with every glimpse of light dancing upon the leaves, I felt my heartbeat sync with the rhythm of nature. As I moved deeper, shadows loomed, yet they were not menacing. Instead, they beckoned with a sense of mystery and discovery. It felt intoxicating, an invitation that whispered of truths to be unwrapped, like presents waiting to be discovered beneath the layers of expectation. With a sudden turn, the trail opened into another clearing, broader and framed by towering stones intricately adorned with more lichen, their surfaces glistening like memories caught in time. At the center, a pool shimmered, a mirror of the sky above, reflecting not just the world, but perhaps elements of my own spirit. Kneeling beside the water's edge, I observed my reflection, a kaleidoscope of self. The playful ripples distorted the image, yet I felt oddly comforted by this lack of clarity. Wasn't that the essence of self-discovery? Often less about the clear truth we appeal to and more about the myriad of shades, emotions, masks, and layers we've built over time. A soft breeze whispered around me, teasing strands of hair like gentle fingers. I closed my eyes once more, tuning into the symphony of the forest, allowing the world to dissolve to nothing but the sound of a heartbeat me own. In that sacred stillness, I released my thoughts, inviting deeper awareness into my consciousness. Show me the way, I breathed, just as I had in the previous clearing, but this time with a fiery urgency. What was it that lay beneath my surface? What consciousness was waiting to emerge alongside my realization and acceptance of my individual threads in the collective tapestry of existence? With eyes closed, I began to hold space for whatever was eager to unfold. Slowly, visions emerged, all my choices replayed before me like a flickering reel, times filled with joy, faced with rejection, challenged by fear. I recalled moments where connection illuminated my spirit like a beacon, and instances where isolation dimmed the gleam of my soul. As I observed, it became clear that the reflections in the water were not merely memories, they were portals, windows to the bygone canyons of my heart. I wore reminders of every relationship, every joy, and every heartbreak as a living testament to my growth. With newfound clarity, I saw how I had held back, fearing vulnerability, afraid to show the full spectrum of myself to others. Suddenly, the gentle sound of a flowing stream caught my attention, and I felt the pull of an unseen force beckoning me toward its source. With an eagerness that rose within me, I rose and moved toward the sound, the pull deepening with each calculated step. As I drew closer, glimpses of movement within the water stole my gaze. I squatted low beside the bank and peered into its crystalline depths. What I saw filled me with a wee myriad of colorful fish darting beneath the surface, weaving in and out of the flowing current. Each movement seemed choreographed by an unseen hand, each fish a lesson in fluidity, a reminder that life is not about rigid forms but the capacity to adapt and respond. I felt a profound connection to that dance, a synchrony calling me forth into the currents of my own existence, encouraging me toward authenticity amidst every shift and turn. What if I could let go? I pondered, craving the freedom those fish possessed as they moved seamlessly through obstacles. What if embracing vulnerability in the form of connection could translate to a life of fluidity, curiosity, and joy? I tucked these questions deep into my heart, ready to carry them forward like sacred lanterns illuminating the twilight of uncertainty. As I turned to depart from the stream, an unexpected flutter caught my eye, a brilliant blue butterfly, its wings like painted spoons, briefly alighted upon a nearby flower. The brightness of its presence felt like a potent reminder, a sign that transformation was possible, that beauty could emerge from the unlikeliest of situations, and as it took flight, soaring high into the canopy, I wondered, was there a lesson in its ascent? What hidden potentials resided in my journey? What are the connections I was yet to create, the hearts destined to intertwine with mine? Just like that butterfly, what metamorphosis lay in wait, waiting for me to embrace the sacred messages of existence? Each question curling around my spirit, urging me onward, deeper into the heart of the mystery. With each step away from the stream, the forest continued to breathe around me, pulsating with new energy and insight. The path before me twisted deeper into the woods, illuminating glimpses of sunlight that filtered through the branches like messages from the divine. I followed the gentle beckoning, feet whispering their intentions through the soft, mossy earth, feeling both fragile and unbreakable in my resolve. As I ventured onward, the brew of whispers and rustling leaves grew louder, enveloping me in a heightened awareness. The air seemed thicker, alive with whispers of ancient secrets, as if the very essence of the forest wished to engage in a dialogue. I paused, a flutter of uncertainty mixing with anticipation. What more could this place teach me? What wisdom lay in wait, hidden within the roots and the canopies? Soon, I stumbled upon a clearing unlike any I had encountered before. This one felt sacred, hushed, as if the world had held its breath in reverence. In the center stood a gnarled tree, its trunk wide and spiraled, as if it were a guardian of wisdom, a symbol of endurance against the seasons of change. The bark was etched in curious runes, inscriptions that seemed to shimmer in the dappled sunlight. My heart quickened. This was no ordinary tree. Cautiously, I approached, the ground beneath me carpeting with soft moss. Kneeling before the grand sentinel, I reached out to touch its rough surface, and a ripple of energy surged through my fingertips. My breath caught, and a vision erupted within me, a tapestry of interconnected lives, stories weaving together in a symphony of spirit and experience. I was struck by the understanding that every encounter I had ever had, every heart that had crossed mine, contributed to this intricate web of existence. What does this mean? My soul questioned, longing for direction as I studied the patterns carved into the bark. But as if in response, an unexpected rustle caught my ear. I turned to see an old woman emerging from the shadows of the trees, her silver hair cascading down her shoulders like a waterfall of moonlight. Her eyes sparkled with a knowing glow that felt both welcoming and discerning. "Ah, seeker," she whispered, her voice a blend of autumn leaves and flowing water. "You find yourself before the Tree of Echoes, a conduit for the wisdom of those who came before you. It reveals only what you are ready to hear." A chill danced along my spine, and it was as if the weight of the universe pressed gently on my shoulders. I felt time suspend, the air thickening, stretching into something profound. What must I know? I asked, battling the surge of vulnerability that threatened to spill from my soul. What do I need to learn to continue my journey? The old woman smiled, tilting her head slightly, as if weighing the gravity of the question. Much like the butterfly you witnessed, your unfolding awaits beyond the veil of your fears. To truly know the beauty you seek, you must first embrace your essence, your authentic voice. Her gaze pierced through me, unearthing layers of fear I had not yet confronted, the pangs of judgment, the hesitations of expression. You stand at a crossroads, she continued, between who you have been and who you can become. Each impulse toward vulnerability sends ripples into the greater tapestry of existence. You are not merely a thread, but a strand of vibrant color, vital to the whole. As her words settled in my heart, I felt an intricate weaving, a connection to something greater, transcending time, binding every heartbeat with the collective heartbeat of life. It was an invitation. The threads of connection sought to pull me into a dance, to align my spirit with boundless possibilities. Yet, she added, her voice softening, the path ahead is not without challenges. You must traverse the undercurrents of doubt and release the illusions of isolation that tether you. A deep silence enveloped us, infused with the weight of her prophecy. The tree can show you the way, but only if your heart is open to listening, truly listening, she said, her eyes reflecting both wisdom and warmth. I nodded, grappling with the enormity of her truth, feeling both exhilarated and terrified at the same time. As she began to step back into the shadows, I felt a yearning to capture her essence, to absorb every ounce of wisdom she shared, yet her form began to dissolve among the trunks. "Until we meet again, seeker," she whispered, her voice trailing like echoes in the breeze. I returned my gaze to the Tree of Echoes, feeling small but indomitably connected in the vast web of existence. What messages did it still hold for me? What other truths lay hidden beneath the surface, waiting for me to unearth them? With my heart open and ready to embrace the unfolding journey, the questions continued to swirl within me, echoing in the silence of the clearing. How do I step boldly into my vulnerability? What colors will I choose to weave into the fabric of life? As the ancient tree stood sentinel beside me, a silent guardian, I realized I was only at the beginning of my exploration, my spirit eager for the adventure that awaited just beyond the horizon. As I stood before the Tree of Echoes, clutching my newfound resolve, I could feel the energy of the forest radiate through me, invigorating every cell in my body. The wind danced in the branches above, whispering encouragement as it caressed my skin. There was a knowing in the air, a sense that everything was poised at the edge of revelation, waiting for me to lean in and listen. I took a deep breath, allowing the sense of pine and earth to grounding me to this moment, this mystical confluence of past, present, and potential. What would it take for me to embrace my authentic essence? A challenge laid before me, yet I felt the fierce warmth of support, not only from the spirits that lingered in the shadows but also from deep within my own soul. I closed my eyes, focusing on my breath. In that stillness, I could sense the intricate web of connections drawing ever tighter, threads of possibility and heartbeats weaving together like a quilt of existence. I felt a Kalinga whisper that echoed in the depths of my being, urging me forward. "Vulnerability is your bridge, seeker," the voice echoed softly, embodying the ancient wisdom of the tree. "Step onto it, and it will unveil the sacred messages you seek." With a resolve that surged within me, I opened my eyes and stepped closer to the tree, placing my palm against its gnarled bark. Images flooded my mind, each vibrant color, each laugh shared, each tear shed had molded me into the individual I was destined to be. I understood now that my stories were not just my own, but part of a vast narrative, one that linked me to every heartbeat reverberating in the universe. In that moment of connection, I felt an awakening, a profound realization emerged: I was never truly alone. The longing I felt for community, for deep connections, was not a void in my life but a reminder of my capacity to forge meaningful relationships. The stones, flowers, and animals I encountered on this journey were not separate beings but mirrors reflecting aspects of myself waiting to be awakened. "You are a channel for love, for empathy, and for connection," I whispered to the tree. "Help me embrace my essence." And as if in response, the air shimmered, and the whispers of the forest crescendoed into a beautiful harmony. I could hear laughter, joy intermingled with shared struggles, the myriad of souls converging on the same quest for understanding and connection. The presence of the doe, the butterfly, the owl, they were all embodiments of the truth that life flows between us, and within that flow lies the beauty of transformation. With a heart full of clarity, I stepped back from the tree, ready to embrace the unknown future with open arms. The path that lay before me was not only a journey toward myself but also an invitation to share my experiences with others who walked a similar truth. It was time to step into community, to forge connections rooted in authenticity, and to dance in the rhythm of vulnerability with open hearts. As I turned to leave the sacred clearing, feeling the gentle pull of energy guiding me onward, a brilliant light caught my eye. A burst of golden sunlight streamed through the canopy, illuminating a path that beckoned me. I took a deep breath, letting it fill my lungs before releasing it into the world around me. With each step, I felt lighter, more attuned to the vibrations of life and the universe. I had unlocked something powerful within myself, a willingness to embrace all aspects of who I was, to share, and to connect. And with that revelation came an unwavering peace that settled in my chest, like a promise that nudged me forward. The world was teeming with possibilities. All I needed to do was step onto that bridge of vulnerability and walk into the light. As I ventured further into the embrace of the forest, I carried with me the sacred messages of my awakening. With every heartbeat, I exchanged whispers with the world around me, threading my story into the larger tapestry of existence. I understood now that together, through openness and shared experience, we could create a sanctuary of love and belonging. And in that sacred stillness, with the trees as my witnesses and the universe as my compass, I took my final step across the threshold of uncertainty, knowing full well I would find my kin. In that moment, I realized the greatest truth of all: we are all connected by the threads of our stories, each life a beautiful note in the symphony of existence. We find our belonging not in isolation but in the embrace of those who echo our heart's song, inviting us to dance together beneath the stars. As I walked forward, a sense of peace enveloped me, each step a testament to the power of connection, and a gentle reminder that we are never truly alone in this beautiful dance of life.